Hi students, welcome back to the Google Classroom of Plus One Statistics. Chapter 2, Collection of Data. I hope all of you have studied the previous chapter of the statistics very well and you all performed very well in your test paper. In the previous lesson, you have learnt that the meaning of statistics, the scope of statistics, the importance of statistics in economics. In this lesson, you will learn about the techniques of collecting, organizing and condensing of data. And these techniques are necessary for understanding the statistical data in a proper way. In this chapter, you will study the sources of data and the mode of data collection. The purpose of collection of data is to show evidence for reaching a sound and clear solution to a problem. In this chapter, you will study these 12 different topics. First one is the key terms, sources of data, surveys, census or complete enumeration, sample survey, questionnaire, types of questions, open-ended versus close-ended, mode of data collection, pilot survey, methods of sampling, and the important agencies. Key terms of this chapter. First one, variable. The values which change such as production of food grains per annum, temperature of a city, etc. They are represented by the letters X, Y or Z. Then observation. The value of a variable is known as observation. The next one, data. Observations corresponding to different variables are known as data. To know the fluctuations in food grains production, we need the data on the production of food grains in India for various years. So, data is a tool which helps in understanding the problems by providing information. You must be wondering, where do data come from and how do we collect these? In the following sections, we will discuss the types of data, method and instruments of data collection and the sources of obtaining data. The next one, statistical investigation. It means search for information conducted by using statistical methods. Another important key term is investigators. The person who conducts statistical investigation is known as investigator. Then enumerators. A person who helps investigator in the collection of data is known as enumerator. Then respondents. The person from whom statistical information is collected is known as respondent. Then statistical unit. The items on which measurements are taken. Example, weight in kilograms. The next one is population or the universe. It means totality of the items under study. So what do you mean by population or the universe? The totality of the items under study. Thus, the population or the universe is a group to which the results of the study are intended to apply. A population is always all the individuals or items who possess certain characteristics according to the purpose of the survey. The next one is sample. It refers to a group or a section of the population from which the information is to be obtained. So this is the diagrammatical explanation of population and sample, and this area contains the population and only this part contains the sample. Good sample. It is smaller than the population and is capable of providing accurate information about the population at lower cost and lesser time. What are the sources of data? Statistical data can be obtained from two sources, primary data and secondary data. The researcher may collect the data by conducting an inquiry. Such data are called primary data as they are based on the first-hand information. So what is primary data? When the enumerator collects the data by conducting an inquiry or an investigation. They are based on the first-hand information. Suppose you want to know about the popularity of a film star among school students. For this, you will have to inquire a large number of school students by asking questions from them to collect the desired information. The data you get is an example of primary data. Then what is secondary data? If the data have been collected and processed, that means scrutinized and tabulated by some other agency, they are called secondary data. Once more, when the data have been collected and processed by some other agency and it is based on the second-hand information. They can be obtained either from published sources such as government reports, documents, newspapers, books written by economists, or from any other source. For example, a website. Thus, the data are primary to the source that collects and processes them for the first time, and secondary for all sources that later use such data. Use of secondary data saves time and cost. For example, after collecting the data on the popularity of a film star among students, you publish a report. If somebody uses the data collected by you for a similar study, it becomes secondary data. So children, study well the difference between the primary data and secondary data. So the primary data are based on the first-hand information. Then the secondary data is based on second-hand information. Let us conclude today's session. Study well the important terms of this chapter. Statistical data can be obtained by two sources. What are they? Primary data and secondary data. Primary data is based on the first-hand information. Then what about the secondary data? If the data have been collected and processed by some other agencies, and these are called secondary data. So children, please note that the corresponding URL, notes of the lesson and test paper are also attached along with this video. Make use of all these available resources, study well and attend the test paper without fail. Thank you.